Hey guys, welcome to our video on our first lesson on 3D shapes. So as you can see right here on my desk, I have a couple 3D shapes. I wanted to show you kind of with a camera. Hopefully you can identify some of these shapes. We're going to learn this unit about how to classify them, meaning what name we can give them. So we have a bunch of different shapes that you'll be able to see in class. Hopefully you see on this table here some pyramids, some prisms, and cylinders. So we'll be doing all types of different things with these shapes. We're going to draw them from, as you can see, the top view. We will also draw them from the front view. So what do they look like from the front of a shape? For example, this rectangular prism looks like a square from the front. The two-dimensional shape is a square. So I'll kind of go back up here. But these are the shapes we're going to talk about. And today we're just going to practice drawing them, classifying them, and let me go back here to your notes here. So you can see your notes packet. This is going to be worth 30 points, 5 points per lesson. So definitely you'll want to put detail into this, kind of write down what I'm writing down here. And as long as you complete it, watch the video, you'll get the points. So anyway, the first part we need to do is just talk about some words. A prism is any 3D shape with top and bottom bases congruent. So a prism is any shape with top and bottom bases congruent, like a rectangular prism or a triangular prism. Let me see if I can pull up a video here. Hang on a second. So let me just show you a couple things here. So prisms have a top and the bottom base congruent. So these two top sides are congruent, and then it has 4 faces around it. 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Here's a different type of prism. Okay, here you can see that the top and bottom, there's actually 1, 2, and then the back is 3 different rectangles around the sides there. And the top has a triangle and a triangle on the bottom. So we would call this a triangular prism because the top is a triangle and the bottom is a triangle. So it's a triangular prism with 3 rectangular faces. The way that we label pyramids, or the way that we identify pyramids, are if your pyramid comes to a point on the top, all sides come to one point at the top, it's called a vertex there. That's a pyramid. And we name pyramids by the shape of the base. So as you can see, the base is a square. So back to these definitions. Go ahead and copy these down in your notes packet for me. You can push pause and go ahead and write these down. Okay, so like I showed you before, a pyramid is a 3D shape with one base, and then all the other sides will be triangles. They all come to a single point. A face is any flat surface on your shape. Okay, so cylinders, we'll talk a little bit about what is a face on a cylinder, because they have kind of curved edges. But all the other shapes, with the exception of cone, have flat edges, or flat surfaces. An edge is where 2 lines meet. Okay, or I'm sorry, where 2 faces meet. Where it's the line where 2 faces meet. So kind of like, you can kind of think about it as, I think edge is a pretty good explanation of it. And then vertex is the corners where they meet, where 3 or more edges meet at one point. So to get some practice with all of these different shapes, you're going to be drawing different views from the top, the front, the side. And on your notes, I want you to draw as many different 3D shapes in this space as you can. So just to get a little bit of practice with a couple, to draw any prism we'll start with. And I want you to draw more than just this one, but that'll be good enough for now. Just do a rectangular prism, you start with a rectangle. Okay? And then we can actually make an identical copy of this shape if we copy it. And you'll have to do this in pencil or pen, so this will be pretty neat, hopefully. And I think, hopefully, you will be able to draw just about as neatly as this. It might be a little tough to do. But if we get a line segment now, we can actually connect all the edges. And a lot of you are pretty good at this, but I've seen a couple of you be, just doodling with drawing 3D shapes. And that's kind of what I want you to do right here. So this would be our connecting the different endpoints here. So if we actually just copy this, you find that I can actually copy this segment and it fits exactly in there a bunch of different times. So we're connecting corresponding endpoints. So you can see that's kind of a box there. Rectangular prism. If we draw a pyramid, why don't we do a triangular pyramid? So we'll start with a triangle. And then since pyramids have to come to a single point, let's draw a point above it. So what we can do is put a single dot up at the top, and then connect every endpoint or vertex, the corners of that base, to that point. So what we'll do is take this point, draw a line down there. Sorry, it's too big. Get that smaller there. Kind of move it over. Oh, I'm not going to be cooperative. There we go. Well, I'll just show you with the pen, since you'll have to use your pen too. So what we would do is actually draw all the corners to that spot, and this will be a little hard to do on the computer, but something kind of like this. And then if you see that this is in the background, you can actually do a dotted line to represent that it's behind there. So that's that 3D pyramid. That would be a triangular pyramid. And to draw a cylinder, you draw a circle on top and bottom, right above each other, the same size and shape, and just connect the sides like that. That's how you draw a cylinder. Okay, so I want you to fill up this box with as many shapes as you can. Not quite this big. Make smaller ones. You know, you can kind of overlap if you need to, but just fill this box with as many different shapes as you can. And then I want you to think about this answer and answer it before you come to class tomorrow. What is the main difference between prisms and pyramids? Okay, there is one big difference about prisms and pyramids. Once again, this is a prism, and this is a pyramid. Okay, so I'll go ahead and show you a couple different views of different shapes, and then I'll show you a different website that you can look through some things. So here are just a couple pictures that I've taken. Let's see if I can get to the next one here. Oh, that's not going to work. Okay, so some pictures. Here is a cylinder and the top view of a cylinder. As you can see here, the top view of a cylinder is just the shape of a circle. Okay, a couple more here. Here's a rectangular prism, and the top of it is a rectangle. This, if you can see the bottom green part there, it's a triangular pyramid because it comes to a single point on the top. And this, if I flip back and forth between these two, this page here is a top view of it. The point that it comes to is right in the middle of that shape. So you can see kind of the edges that come up to that point. Here's a cone. And the top view of a cone, as you can see, the point is right in the middle there. If we can show you a couple more. There's me. Here is a square pyramid because the base is a square and it comes to a single point. And there's the front of that square pyramid. As you can see, the front, if you just look at it from the front, you can ask yourself, what two-dimensional shape do you see there? And that would be a triangle. This, if you can see the top and bottom are triangles, it's a triangular prism because there's two triangles. And there's the top view of it. And then we're back to that cylinder. So what I'd like you to do is follow that link on Schoology, or it's written in your notes packet if you have to type it in. But you'll want to go to this website here. And hopefully it'll work for you because it really is a good website to kind of play around with and explore all these different things. So here's all the different things again, pyramids, prisms, and cylinders. And what I want you to do is just kind of click through the buttons on the left here. We're going to go to edges, faces, and vertices. Okay, so if we count up how many edges are here, there's all the green edges. We can actually count them, and I'll trace them out so you can kind of see here. But if we count them here, we have one. Actually, I want to do it in yellow so you can see. There's an edge, there's an edge, and there's an edge. That's 3. And then we have the ones that form up to it, 4, 5, and 6. So there's actually 6 edges there. So if we actually type that in, we'll see if we can get this right. Vertices are all the corners. So we have the 3 bottom corners and the top corner for a total of 4. And then faces is kind of hard to see from this, but if you imagine a triangular pyramid in your head, you have the bottom and then the 3 sides. So you can kind of see 3 pretty easily, but there's actually a bottom one that's underneath too. So there's actually 4 faces there, and we can check this to see. So that's right. So I want you to go through and experiment on your own. Try to see if you can come up with the relationship between edges, faces, and vertices for all these different things. Ooh, that octahedron one's kind of hard. But go through and try a couple of those. And then I also want you to try top, front, and side views. So if you just look at this cylinder from the front, what two-dimensional shape do you see? You know, think about a can of soup in your cupboard or something like that. Looking at just from the front. I know there's curved parts to it, but definitely you'll see the outline of a rectangle. So that one's a rectangle. And then this one says the front view. So if you're looking at it from the front, you would see a triangle. Okay. So I want you to just go through and try a couple of these on your own. When you come to class tomorrow, you can actually look here, and this kind of helps you drawing different things. You can actually kind of trace it. I don't know if this would work on an iPad or not, but you can actually trace the bottom first. You know, it says draw a rectangle, and then draw another rectangle behind it. So you can even draw ones on top and bottom, just like that, and kind of connect them. Connect all the down parts there. So you can kind of experiment with that as well. But when you get to class tomorrow, what we will talk about is you'll be making a book of your 3D shapes. So I'll just show you quickly what that'll be. You'll have your 3D shapes book. This one's mine here. And what you're going to do is we're going to put some formulas in here, some definitions, and you're going to be making a page for each shape. So you're going to have a lot of time to experiment making different shapes. Okay? Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night.